But it could well be a turning point, yeah.
I mean, there's something, the fact it kind of gels with Ruth Turner being arrested and then interrogated, not specifically on cash for honours, but as the police said, on
conspiracy to
perverting the course of justice.
What's
happening here, Michael?
One thing that could be happening is that the police are trying to frighten a lot of people in Number 10. I mean, the two ideas I think they're trying to put into the head of Number 10 is, firstly, there may be prosecutions for perverting the course of justice where it's probably easier to get a prosecution than it would be for
the cash for honours.
For the cash for honours. And the second thing was the suggestion in some newspapers that there's a mole inside 10 Downing Street who's giving information. Now, what really gets people frightened is if they think that there are secondary charges that could be followed, and if they think that there's a double agent inside Number 10. So all of this, of course, could be made up. It may all just be psychological warfare.
And we could say that ITV also reported that he still didn't think the Crown Prosecution Service was going to bring any prosecutions, despite this great scoop about the emails. Final question, discussing all this, looking at it, is there now a vacuum at the top of British government because of the position Mr Blair is in? Ministers aren't bothering with them, they're just keeping their heads down?
There's a sense in Parliament that we're treading water and that we're waiting for the transition. Waiting for the change, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the thing we were debating before, the Catholic adoption, it's extraordinary to see a Prime Minister publicly overwhelmed by his cabinet colleagues and his party colleagues and told that he can't have his way.
OK, right, thank you for that. Now, as you know, we on This Week are proud to be part of the loads of money culture, which Labour used to abhor until it got its hands on the dosh itself. But they're not alone. We all want to be rich, own a second home, enjoy exotic holidays, drive a fancy car. And apparently we Brits don't even mind looting a beach in Devon to achieve it. Where do you think Diane got her outfit from tonight? And it's a very nice outfit. But are our eyes bigger than our bellies? They certainly appear to be bigger than our wallets, judging by the level of debt in this country now. So tonight we decided to put greed in the spotlight. We're told love of money is the root of all evil, but which of us doesn't love it? The days of wreckers luring boats onto the rocks may have passed, but when a stricken ship dispersed its wares along a Devon beach this week, scavengers came hundreds of miles to cart off the loot. Those of us who failed to snatch a beach BMW shook our heads at this slathering greed. But are we blinded by the beamer in our own eye? Celebrity culture thrives on our appetite for snaps of the famous flaunting their wealth.
Pick up your paper. How much world news is in there? It's down to about half a page, I think, in most of the tabloids these days. It's celebrity gossip, it's celebrity culture.
The brash yuppie culture of the 1980s did at least seem brash. Now, are we so used to it that we just don't notice it anymore? Most of us judge success by the size of the pay packet. And when we're down in the dumps, we turn to retail therapy to give us a lift. If we haven't got the readies, we just pop it on the card. Britain's personal debt grows by £1 million every 4 minutes. We gloat as our house value ticks upwards. We want the flash car. Well, if we're going to hell, we wouldn't like to be seen in a handcart. Is avarice still a sin? It may be, but to the sinner goes the spoils, it seems. I think I saw a couple of little devils there. The man you saw in the film, Darryn Lyons, joins us now. Welcome to This Week. Oh, yeah. Greed, good or bad?
Well, I think it's bad in culture today, and I don't think that anyone gets very successful out of greed. I think that greed comes from a want of money, and I don't think anyone in business will be successful if they just want money. I think
you said that you thought ambition was a good thing in the beginning of the programme. But I guess ambition sometimes leads to greed.
Well, I think it can do if it can get out of control. I think that's down to a personality. But I think in today's society, I think so many people are driven to keeping up with the Joneses that I think people have lost control over, you know, is it success they want? I mean, someone can be just as successful being a fantastic mother than being the richest man in the south of France or the richest man in Britain. I mean, I think all of us sitting here are never going to be the richest and also never going to be the poorest in society.
Are we greedier than we've been before?
Yeah, probably. There's certainly, I think, more money around, and there's and there's a greater disparity, there's greater inequality. I mean, I think I read that in the city this Christmas, £9 billion was paid out in bonuses. 2,000 people, I think, got more than £1 million in bonuses. I mean, the Conservative Party was more or less driven out of office on, you know, this greed thing and the fat cats and all this sort of thing. But in those days, we were talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds, not 2,000 people getting more than £1 million.
But it also, it happened under Clinton in America in the 1990s. The dot-com boom produced incredible amounts of money, a lot of it greed, a lot of people in jail now as a result of that. It's now happened under Labour in this country. It seems to happen regardless of what government's in power.
Yeah, I remember the thing in the 80s was greed is good. Do you remember that Michael Douglas film? What I think is wrong, it's not just so much people want lots of money and lots of nice things, but increasingly young people want lots of money and nice things and they want it now. And they don't want to actually do anything or have any great skill. They want it now. So it's the greed and the want it now culture, which I think is very pernicious.
I totally agree. And I think that people that come into my office, I mean, it's either I want to be famous or I want to be rich.
And sometimes they think the two will go together.
Yeah.
Well, indeed, and quite often it doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, I also say that, well, what talent you've got, well, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, whether it be in business or whether it be in show business or whether it be the arts or culture or whatever it may be. And I think that young people today, the fact of the matter is young people are getting richer and richer. What worries me about the next generation of Britain is that the very wealthy footballers, is the next aristocracy in Britain going to be a bunch of footballers' children? That is a scary thing for Britain for the future because of so much money and not a lot of this.
I was thinking, you know, last week, the first image we sent around the world was Jade Goody. And then the second image we sent around the world was Branscombe Beach. I mean, what kind of impression do people have of Britain now? And by the way, it seemed to me that the popular press, at least, was cheering on the Branscombe looters.
Really?
Which is what they were. Yeah, I mean, we had that chat, John Dolt, on the programme, didn't we? I saw him on television saying, splendid stuff, you know, this is wonderful to see all these people looting the beach.
Were you shocked by these pictures?
Well, I mean, I wasn't shocked by the pictures, but what amazed me is the writers, that the police were there, Michael, and said, well, yes, you can take what you like, and I'll take your name down. I mean, that is quite bizarre. That was reported
absolutely bizarre.
To be fair, there is a tradition of looting shipwrecks which goes back to the 18th century.
And also,
these days they lured them onto the rocks.
No, and also, there's also huge corporate money and big bank money put into diving huge shipwrecks. You know, that are very, very old, Spanish galleons, etc., where huge amount of money.
This was honest people's hard-earned goods being washed ashore, and rather than being collected, which you would think a civilized nation would do, would ring-fence the beaches and put teams down to rescue what they could and try to return it to their owners, the police allowed this bunch of looters to go. I mean, it was not, as Michael's right, it hardly sent an image of a civilized country.
It was distant.
It was also personal effects as well. There were people moving.
I had some Swedish woman on the radio say her grandmother's or parents' goods had been sent, and she actually saw
she was
someone.
mortified.
And then you heard people on television saying, well, it doesn't matter because it's all covered by insurance. You know, what a mentality.
But Diane,
gone mad.
The fact is that Mr. Brown, your hero, is able to boast of continuous economic growth entirely because of debt. It is debt, both government debt, but above all private consumer debt, that has kept this economy going.
To an extent.
That was a yes. I think we got it there.
And the inflation of house prices.
But I also think, as an entrepreneur and the entrepreneurs of this world, I think it's very difficult to increase business and increase wealth within a country without debt. You've got to take the gamble with the bank to borrow the money to increase wealth in a country.
But as you know, Michael, you've been at the Treasury, all debt levels like this, when they balloon, at some stage the bubble bursts and the consequences are horrendous.
Yes, and it's worth saying that although we've been talking about greed in different places, what happens in Britain today is different from other places. I mean, for example, the average Italian family is saving 3 times as much as the average British family. We have this desperate combination of inflated house prices, large levels of consumer debt and very low levels of saving.
And indeed, the other economies aren't so obsessed with house prices or property, the French, the German, the Italians, as we are.
No. Oh, well, also the Americans to a degree, really. I mean, there's more rentals in America than people actually buy. But that came about from Thatcherism, which I felt Thatcherism in... No, but I thought Thatcherism for me, as a young businessman coming to this country at the age of 21, was the best thing ever. I had more money, loose cash in my pocket under Margaret Thatcher and then subsequent John Major, as I do under the Blairs.
But that's because you started paying your taxes.
Absolutely. I pay too much.
But
They're stealth.
A little black cloud on the horizon is that residential property prices in America are coming down. And normally what happens in America happens here next. And they've had a huge inflation in residential property, and now it's reversing.
All right, well, we'll wait for the gloom and doom to come, and I'm sure we'll be here to do it. We've got, because I know that this pleases you, a little quiz tonight. And I think that you deserve a quiz at home, because I know that you pay the license fee. You do pay the license fee, or is that a van outside your house? Anyway, we thought we'd have a quiz, the greedy quiz. I expect Dan and Michael are going to do well on this one because they're pretty greedy themselves. Now, this first question is who said, in a sense you've already answered it, Diane, so I'm going to change it. Greed is good, greed is right, greed works. Who said that?
It's Wall Street, Michael Douglas.
Right. And Diane mentioned that earlier. Let's just have a look and see. But here's the real question. On whom was the real-life character that quote was based?
Michael Milken.
Correct. They got that
Bonds.
right. God, they are doing well tonight.
That's good.
Right, next question. Who claimed that man was led by an invisible hand to promote
Adams.
the public interest? By
Adam Smith,
Adam
And
Smith.
what book did he write it in?
The Wealth of Nations.
Wealth of
Which
Nations.
university was he at when he wrote it?
Glasgow.
University of Glasgow. Correct. There we go. Adam Smith is now on first Scotsman on a British pound note. Who said that people know the price of everything but the value of nothing? It's a literary figure. Famous turn of the 19th into 20th century literary figure.
Henry James.
Nope. Wrong nationality. Give you another clue. Can you help them here, Darren?
Thomas Hardy.
Wrong nationality.
No, you're guessing now.
An Irishman.
Bernard Shaw?
He wouldn't have been able to adopt by the Catholic Church.
Oscar Wilde?
How many more clues? I mean, begins with an O, then an S. How many more do you want? There he is, Oscar Wilde up there. All right, here we go. Our final question. Who is intensely relaxed?
Oh, Peter Mandelson. Sorry, did I say that with a sneer?
Can I not just
Well
get
done.
this? Let's see if you're right. There it is, the Prince of Darkness himself. How did you know that so well?
It's the famous Mandelson quote. Typical.
It's in the anti-Mandelson phrase book that you can start something like.
So, I mean, you can hardly expect greed not to be popular if even Labour politicians are saying they want people to be filthy rich.
I think it won't stop it. I think it's going to not stop being popular. I think it's going to be a fact of life, and I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and I think it'll go full circle.
All right. On that point, we'll leave it for tonight. Darren Lyons, thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Love the jacket. Must have cost a few bob. That's your lot, folks. It's a religious programme, so I'm off to midnight mass at Annabelle's. Michael's off to see The Devil Wears Prada. Oh, sorry, Dan, you're still here. Thought you'd gone. We'll all be back next week. That's assuming we haven't annoyed him up there too much. We haven't, have we? Didn't mean it, honest. Nighty-night.